I am the Real Wolf Spider, and this is a review, sort of a follow-up review on the Buck Vantage Select. Excuse me, not the Select, the Pro. This is the Buck Vantage Pro. I have the Select and the Advent also. I have another one of these that I showed in another video you can watch where it had a misshapen blade. In all intents and purposes, the knife was perfectly made. It just had a misshapen blade. It's a good blade. It's just not the standard shape. Somebody did a little... I'll point it out to you. Anyway, first thing is this blade is perfectly centered. It was not when I first took it out of the box. I had to tighten up the screw right here a little bit. When these things first come out of the box, a lot of times they're real loose because they're advertised as a fast flipper. If you go to buck.com, buckknives.com, it'll say so fast you'll think it's a spring assisted. But honestly, if you loosen it up like that, there's a real good chance that the blade is going to be wobbly. It's not going to line up properly. It's better to just get it started and then just open it up with the thumb hole. If you want to get real nifty, you can flip it. You know, if you want to put some real nice wrist action in on it, you can get it to open up, but it's not necessary. It's a good one-handed opener. Liner lines up good. It's got G10 handle on it. I'm not going to be real picky about it. For whatever reason, they decided to do the radius. If you look at the center thickness on each side, it's about the same thickness on each side of the G10 material. But for whatever reason, they radiused it down closer to the liner. So on this left side, it's slightly thinner than on the right side. Who knows? Also, the pocket clip is slightly off angle, just a tad. Probably could be loosened and adjusted. I noticed that Buck doesn't... nothing against Buck personally. Buck doesn't sweat the details. They make good products, but I don't know what their quality control issues are, but like on the other one that I have of this, there are two problems with the other one. Somebody got a little carried away and shaved. See how this has a nice curve? It's a nice swoop. The other one was slightly straighter. If you go to my other video, look at it, you'll see it. Also, you see where the hollow ground starts? It's flat where the Buck logo is right there. It's flat, and then all of a sudden it goes into the hollow ground. The other one started sooner, so that when you looked at the top of the blade, it started to get thinner quicker. Whoever made that blade, whoever was the person who was making that blade, must have been thinking tactical, because it has all the characteristics of a blade. This one here, if you notice, is thick all the way down as far as it can be, whereas the other one was beveled a little bit up, like up here. Look, you have to see the other video. Maybe I'll do a comparison to this one and the other one and show you. I'm not going to send it back. It's a good knife. It's not worth sending it back. $10 postage, trying to fool with it. And half chances are the Buck people will send me another one that's got another weird defect in it. Seriously, Buck, come on. Pay attention to the details. People really do scrutinize these knives with a fine-tooth comb when they get them. This is basically a really good knife. It's a great everyday carry. See how the clip is right there. A very simple, easy design. It's just two liners, stainless steel, put together with some G10 material over top of it, and a nice classic style blade that, in my opinion, doesn't need to be real loose and wobbly to flip out. It doesn't tap on the end like it used to. You can see that. This is a good knife. I paid $52 for it, 52 and some change. I can't see you paying more than $60 for this knife. If you're paying more than $60 for this knife, you're paying too much. They listed on for like $90 or $95, but that's just too much money. This is not a $90 knife. It's a $50 knife, $50 to $60 knife. The G10 material is nice. I think they could have put a little bit more scaling on it. It's kind of slick, actually. There's some good aspects to G10 as to its characteristics of handling of grease and wet and not warping and just not chipping and things like that. It's good material, but a little more scaling on it, maybe just a little bit. It's pretty slick stuff. It's got a little bit of lines to it, but I think they could have put a little more scaling on this one, just a little bit, not much, just a tiny bit more. I mean, it's sort of grippy. You can hear, but a little more. The blade, S30V, marked as such, with the I don't know if you can see it with this. Most of these knives, I have a high resolution camera now, but I got it set up in such a way that it's hard for me to do these reviews. So it's got the Boss heat treating. It says S30V on there. Sometimes the camera will start focusing, and other times it won't, and it's not locking in. So that's what it's supposed to say right there. That blob that says S30V Boss heat treated, that flame logo. This is a good knife for the money. It's not perfect. My big thing with Buck knives is, also this one didn't come as razor sharp. My big things with Buck knives is they don't sweat the details on the quality control. They let the little tiny nuances by, and you'll buy 2 or 3 of the same model of a Buck knife, and you'll look at all of them and they'll all be slightly different. That's not the way to sell a good, consistent product, Mr. Buck. You've been in business a long time. You should know that. Every knife should be coming out as a clone of the one before it, because you're selling a particular model of knife. It'd be like me going, I mean, I can understand, you go and buy a new car and you got, the better stereo, or like you got the better steel on the blade, better finish, better heat treating, but basically it's the same model car. Okay, might have a slightly fancier clip or something, or a better material on the handle, but it's the same model. Come on, Buck, get it together. This is a really good knife for the money, and Buck, if you need to charge $10 or $20 more to hire better employees to build these knives better, do it, because I'm going to tell you straight up, in my opinion, you're going to start losing customers. If you're wondering why your sales aren't as big as they should be, it's because you got quality control issues, Mr. Buck. Get it together. These are good knives. There's nothing wrong with them. But when I buy 4 of these knives and all 4 of them are slightly different, that's unacceptable. That's a 100% chance that there's a quality, something missed in quality control. 100%. 4 out of 4. No matter how you look at it. So anyway, the Buck Vantage Pro S30V Boss heated treat steel. This is what they're supposed to look like. Nice stick all the way through. This is a perfect example of a true hollow ground blade. A lot of blades appear to be hollow ground because they have beveling at the top and then they change direction. But you see how that light gathers in the middle? You get that bar of light. That's because it's concave, and it's like a magnifying glass. It's got that parabolic shape to it. That's a true hollow ground blade, and if it doesn't have that look to it, it's not hollow ground. It might be flat, it might be slightly convex, but this is a good example of a good hollow ground blade. It's a nice wide blade, and it's a good classic handle. See that? There's the side with the clip. It's just a good knife. This is a nice knife. This is a great everyday carry knife. This knife weighs exactly 4 ounces. It has 3.5-inch blade, and it's a liner lock. And I tightened it up so that it would line up properly in the middle. and not scuff the side of the liner. You can flip it open if you want to. Not necessary. Really not. Some people think that's cool, but I mean, yeah, if the knife's capable of doing it easily, sure, why not? But this knife is designed so that it's got a little thumb flip on it. You flip it open and finish the job with the thumb hole. Does the job. It's a good knife. That's my no-nonsense review for the Buck Vantage Pro Large 3.5 inch G10 S30V pocket knife. That's it.